Our St. Louis Dragons continue season number 2 as we have both games at home today, facing off against the Lions first and then the Bills in the snow. We'll be covering our Week 13 bye week as well briefly too, and in today's episode we will also be having a prospect profile. So we've got a jam-packed episode today, but this is definitely one of my favorite ones of the series thus far, so buckle up, grab a snack, get comfortable, because it's going to be a good one. As we go into the bye week, we currently have a record of 4-8, and we're hoping to hopefully set ourselves up well for the final 5 games of the year. Our Dragons lost both games in the last episode to the Chargers and the 49ers, and we have kind of struggled as of recent, only winning 2 games since week 5. That's not good enough, so hopefully we can get back on the right track as we do have a pretty tough schedule to wrap up the season, including the Lions and the Bills, 2 teams who are both fighting for playoff spots. So as we go into the press conference and figure out what we want to do for the bye week, the choice here is pretty clear. For those of you who remember in the last episode, there are some tensions brewing within the locker room between the offense and the defense. We need everybody to like each other. We need to continue to set a culture and a foundation so the players are going to go on a bonding retreat for the week. Hopefully everyone's going to be happy. Hopefully the drama and the finger pointing in the locker room can stop, because the childish behavior that has possibly costed us some games is a real issue, and I'm hoping that the bye week will fix that. That'll bring us into Week 14 as we take a look at the results here for Week 13. The Patriots and the Chiefs both remain undefeated, while the Saints remain winless. As for your players of the week, Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, Tremaine Edmonds, and Josie Jewell, who had 4 interceptions. Yes, 4. That ties an NFL record. And if you're curious of which quarterback was the one who threw all 4 interceptions to Josie Jewell, don't overthink it. It's the Indianapolis Colts with Anthony Richardson, who has been a turnover machine this year. He's thrown 22 picks. The Colts are 2-10. They have the second worst record in the league. Could they potentially be looking at a quarterback in this year's draft? Assuming Callaghan October goes number 1, I definitely think they could look at Dasani Madison out of Alabama if they get the second overall pick. As we take a look at the playoff picture, the NFC has been weird. There aren't many great teams in here, but it's a super deep conference. And both us and the 5-7 Lions are going to need to win some games down the stretch if we want one of these playoff spots. The Lions are, of course, led by quarterback Jared Goff on the final year of his contract. Goff is not necessarily as good as he is in real life, put it that way, but he's got a great group of skill position players with David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mike Williams, Jamison Williams, and Sam Laporta. Of this group, I'm definitely most interested in watching Jamison Williams today, and that's because during the trade deadline episode, we talked about him as a guy who we could look to acquire. J-Mo has become an afterthought within the Lions offense, and a connection that I didn't even make during the trade deadline episode is that Jamison Williams is from St. Louis. So that would be a homecoming, and he gets to return to his hometown today. The Lions have a great offensive line led by Penei Sewell and Frank Ragnow. They've got plenty of talent on defense, although they will be without Aiden Hutchinson today, who is out with a shoulder injury. Both of these teams definitely need to win this game, and both of these teams are a little bit banged up. Joe Mixon suffered an arm injury at the end of the previous game, so DeAndre Swift will get to be the lead back today against his former team, fittingly enough, and we'll also hopefully see plenty Deontay Foreman and Sean Tucker. Michael Gallup will also be coming off of IR, and he will be playing in his first game since Week 2. So that'll bring us into our Week 14 matchup. Out of the bye week, everybody's feeling rejuvenated and re-energized after their bonding retreat. And hopefully the good times can carry over to this matchup against the 5-7 Detroit Lions, who are in a very similar place that the Dragons are, being on the outside looking in within the NFC playoff race. For those of you who don't know, I am a diehard Detroit Lions fan, and while it is unfortunate that the Lions here are not as good as they are in real life, they do have plenty of talent, and it's going to be a tough game for our Dragons, but hopefully the Lions lose. I don't get to say that too often, but today I guess I will. So the Dragons will start with the football. First play from scrimmage is the rookie Puma Whitlock hands it off for DeAndre Swift, and he loses 3. Brian Branch brings him down. Brian Branch steals DeAndre Swift's jersey number with Detroit, and he steals his lunch money on that play. The talented nickel corner out of the University of Alabama. 3rd and 3. Here's Swift to the left side with a first down. Jukes away from the defender and loses it. but it's recovered by Michael Gallup for the first down. That was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson with the fumble force. So a near turnover there, but the Dragons will hold on to the ball. Puma on the run, connects with Michael Thomas, who gets it to the 19-yard line, and the offense is pushing it down the field very quickly. 2nd and 10. Puma under pressure. He's sacked by Kenneth Murray. The Dragons contemplated signing Murray in the offseason, and I think in hindsight, they made a good decision not to with the breakout of Owen Papo. 3rd and 16. Here's Puma. He finds a hole and is going to run with it. Puma Whitlock jukes away from the defender and will get the first down. What a run for Puma Whitlock, who gets it to the 8, as now it is a 3rd and goal. Can the Dragons punch it in for good and take the lead? Puma looks to throw it, rolls out to the right side, looking for Likely. He got it! Touchdown, Dragons! What a play by Isaiah Likely to drag the feet in bounds, showing off some acrobatic moves. Calm down, dude. You're going to kill the camera people. Now, the question that I think everybody's asking is, did he get the feet in bounds? I was awfully close. In real time, I'm not so sure he did, but it's super close. So we're definitely going to need to take a look here at the booth review. And as we get another look at it, let's try to see if we think he drags the toes in bounds. And I feel like it's so close. It might be too close to change. And the initial call on the field was a touchdown. As we look at it from this angle, he has the ball, and he's in the process of dragging both toes down. So that is going to be called a touchdown. What great footwork by Isaiah Likely to catch the ball and then make sure his toes drag. 7-0 St. Louis. Goff on first down is sacked. The rookie, Simeon Bonnet, brings him down. The heavy defensive rookie of the year favorite makes another play. And he got that sack on Penei Sewell, one of the best offensive tackles in the league. 3rd and 9. Here's Goff looking downfield. It's broken up as he tries to get it for Mike Williams, and it's deflected away by Rock Ya-Sin. Good start here within the opening half quarter for the Dragons as they get it back. Puma Whitlock up the middle, connects with his tight end, Isaiah Likely, who gets it to the 38-yard line. 69 yards today for Puma. Nice. Busy start for Likely. He's already got 3 catches, and of course the touchdown. 2nd and 8. Here's Michael Gallup, his first catch, back in the lineup as he gets it to the 17-yard line. It's good to have Michael Gallup back. He's under contract for 2 more seasons, so he's going to be here for the long haul, and Puma's got to be able to develop some chemistry with him. On first down, Puma is sacked by Brian Branch for a loss of 9 as the right tackle, Terrence Steele, is hurt. He will suffer a tricep injury. His day will be done. Andrew Wiley will replace him. On 3rd down, Puma sacked again, this time by the big defensive tackle, Michael Pierce, one of the many free agent signings that Detroit made over what was a busy offseason. 48-yard try for Cameron Dicker, the kicker. It is good, and the Dragons extend their lead as it's now 10-0. Here returns the Lions offense for drive number 2. Their first drive was a 3-and-out. Their second drive will be as well. Jahmyr Gibbs does not get the first down. He's stopped shy by Devin White. 2 3-and-outs for Detroit as the Dragons get it back. Final play of the first quarter potentially. Short throw for Isaiah Likely, continuing his dominant start as he gets it to the 41, wrapped up by the rookie cornerback, Machias Speck, drafted in the first round out of the University of Michigan. Let's move into the second quarter and see if the Dragons can add to their lead even more. 3rd and 3. Here's Puma. It is caught for a first down by Michael Gallup. That was a ballsy throw. It looked like it was going right towards Brian Branch, but Gallup is able to make the play as it's now a 3rd and goal from the 1. Handoff for Sean Tucker, and he does not get it. He is stopped shy of the yard to gain by Aleem the Dream. Aleem McNeil brings him down, and on 4th and goal, the Dragons will keep the offense out on the field to go for it, and DeAndre Swift walks down the red carpet for the touchdown. DeAndre Swift, the former Detroit Lion, will make it a 17-0 ball game. The Dragons look dominant out of the bye week as Detroit has not gotten a single first down until now. It's Mike Williams who makes the play, and of course the Lions can get nothing good, so Frank Ragnow is hurt on the play. 3rd and 9, halfway through the second quarter. It's going to be a screen thrown into the ground for David Montgomery. There's just no creativity with this Lions offense. They're severely missing their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, who's now the head coach in Tampa Bay. 3rd and 3 for the Dragons. Here is Deontay Foreman wide open to the 41-yard line. St. Louis moving it very well down the field as we near the 2-minute warning. DeAndre Swift to the left side. He's going to outrun the safety, Kirby Joseph, and he brings it to the 7. This Dragons team looks unbelievable. They are firing on all cylinders. The Lions still only have 1 first down, while the Dragons are up by 17 and have the chance to extend their lead here on 3rd and goal. Puma for the end zone. It's caught for a touchdown by the rookie, Griffin Weaver III, and it's now a 24-0 game. I feel conflicted. On one hand, I'm enjoying seeing the Dragons dominate, but on the other hand, why does it have to be against Detroit? So the Lions are going to have around 40 seconds left in the half as they get a quick first down into the hands of Mike Williams, and they call their first timeout. Now from the 41-yard line, Jared Goff alone in the backfield. He will look to throw it, and it's hauled in by a wide-open man. It's the tight end, Bam Bam Sam Laporta, who brings it to the 42 as the Lions call their second timeout. Getting close to field goal range, Goff up the middle for the Sun God. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown who gets it to the 26. The Lions aren't going to waste much more time. They just want to make sure they score before the end of the half and get the goose egg off the scoreboard as the kick from 43 is up and good. What a dominant first half for the St. Louis Dragons. Off the bye week, they are firing on all cylinders as they lead it 24-3 against the Detroit Lions. Let's take a look at our halftime report around the league. See if there's some games that are a little bit closer than this one. And we will start in Carolina. The Panthers have had a very up and down season. They need to win some games to try to bring themselves back in the playoff push. And they're looking pretty good so far. Miles Sanders has been on fire so far. And the Panthers lead the Rams 21-10, as it looks like the Rams will probably be picking at the top of this year's draft. In Miami, can the Patriots stay undefeated? So far, so good. This touchdown reception by Juju Smith-Schuster gives them a 13-0 lead near the end of the first half. I'm convinced this team may never lose again. And finally in Green Bay, a huge game for the NFC North and really the NFC playoff picture as a whole. And it's the Packers on top 14-3 with this touchdown by Christian Watson. So as we move into the second half, we're in a really good spot. We're probably going to be running the ball a lot considering, the lead. And then on the other side, the Lions are going to be throwing the ball a lot because they're down, and they really haven't even tried to get the ground game going with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. So they're going to be even more focused on throwing the ball. I have not seen any Jamison Williams yet. I don't get why they refuse to use him. The Lions have 71 total yards of offense. They had 1 first down up until the final drive. And the time of possession should really tell you the whole story. We have had the ball for literally 80% of the game so far today. So let's move into the second half. We'll see if the Lions can actually have the ball for more than 4 minutes. 3rd and 5 for Detroit. Goff looks to throw it. It's another screen for David Montgomery. And he will not get the first down, wrapped up by another former Lion in Jeff Okudah. Jahmyr Gibbs is a little bit banged up. I think we'll be mostly seeing David Montgomery the rest of the way at running back. So the Dragons get it back. They're already up big. Here's Isaiah Likely continuing his great day as he fumbles the ball. And it's picked up by Thomas for the first down. Isaiah Likely just tried to hurdle a dude and it didn't work. Lucky that wasn't a turnover. On first down, Puma with time. He will connect with Isaiah Likely again. And he gets it inside the red zone to the 18. Wrapped up by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and friends. 2nd and 12. Here's Puma Whitlock. He's going to roll out under pressure, and he is sacked on the play. It's Connor Hesketh, the rookie out of the University of Florida, who brings him down. If there's one negative today, the pass protection has not been good. Puma has been sacked 4 times. Make it 5. Bryant Branch brings him down for a second time today. The Dragons were in the red zone, and now they're out of field goal range. They're going to have to punt it. So Detroit has it back, 1st and 20 after a holding call, as David Montgomery has it down the field. Can Monty take it all the way? He does not. Wrapped up by Rock Ya-Sin and company, but not before gaining 50. What a run for David Montgomery. From the 24, play action fake. Here's Goff. Has time. Now under pressure. He's sacked. The rookie, Simeon Bonnet, with his 2nd sack of the game. Bonnet continuing his phenomenal rookie season as he leads all rookies now with 9.5 sacks. On third down, the Lions run another screen, and it doesn't work. Shocker. That's their third screen on third down today. Way to mix up the play calling, guys. So here comes out the field goal team. Not a gimme from around 45 yards out. It is good, making the game a little bit closer as it's now 24-6. Final play of the third quarter. It's a play-action fake. Puma Whitlock under pressure, and he is sacked. What does Karl Malone do on his 3-time? He says, "I chase young kids." It's Chase Young with the sack, a Buckeye on Buckeye crime. And to start the fourth quarter, here's the punt from Harvin. It'll be received by Jamison Williams, who fumbles the ball, and it will be picked up by Detroit. Jamison Williams coughs it up. He was lit up on that play by the rookie Demore Diggins. To start the fourth, here's Goff under pressure. He's sacked by Joseph Osai for a loss of 11. 2nd and 21 after the sack for the Lions. Goff looks to throw it. He will go downfield. It's David Montgomery who beats White on the rep, and he gets the first down. 4th and 2 now. Detroit going for it, and they don't get it. Devin White with the stop. That was Jamar Jefferson who got the carry because now David Montgomery is banged up. Both him and Jahmyr Gibbs are out for the game. The Dragons are trying to chew some clock. They would waste about 3 minutes on their next drive, but no more as Brian Branch deflects the pass. Following Lions possession now, they have it all the way at the 25. They're moving it pretty well down the field as it's Jamar Jefferson, the former Oregon State Beaver, who gets it to the 5. 2nd and goal now from the 1. Can the Lions punch it in and finally put themselves on the board? Goff looks to throw it. He goes short, and it's hauled in by Mike Williams for the touchdown. And the Lions make the game a little bit closer as they are now only down by 11. Now they've got to go through the onside kick. Here's Jack Fox, the all-pro punter, right into the hands of Mo Alley Cox, and that should just about do it. So the Dragons are looking for one more first down to finish this game off for good, and they'll get it. Puma Whitlock connects with Tykeem Keon Jr., who brings it down to the 9, and that's all she wrote. The St. Louis Dragons win it 24-13 here against Detroit. I feel like the game wasn't really as close as the score suggested because we utterly dominated in the first half and we kind of let go of the pedal on the metal in the second half, and that's why the game ended up being kind of close in terms of the score. But truthfully, we dominated. Puma Whitlock statistically had the best game of his career. He was efficient. He made big throws. And he did not have any turnover-worthy plays. He was really, really good. He's just got to try to take less sacks. Jared Goff also was solid. He wasn't necessarily the reason Detroit lost. He didn't elevate them, but he didn't hurt them either. On the ground, we ran the ball quite well. DeAndre Swift played well against his former team. The Lions, not so much, -1 big run for Montgomery. Mike Williams and Isaiah Likely lead the way in the passing game. No Jamison Williams. He didn't even get a target. His only stat today was a fumble on punt team. Defensively, some notable standouts on both teams. Brian Branch was all over the field for Detroit. Simeon Bonnet, 2 TFLs, 2 sacks. The rookie continues to look like a superstar for us. And with this being our 5th win of the season, I'm excited to say that we have passed our win total from last year. Remember last season we went 4-13, and this year we will, no matter what, have at least 5 wins. So no matter what, we improved. Unfortunately, we have a new injury, though. Emmanuel Ogbah with an arm injury. He'll be out for around 3 weeks. Not ideal. So we're going to see a lot of the young guys, James Houston, Trajan Blyjenden. Those guys are going to get more reps as we take a look at Week 14. The Saints win their first game, and the Chiefs lose their first game. So the only team with a 0 in the record column is New England, who's still undefeated. Here are your players of the week. They include Brian Branch for Detroit. Very well deserved. He was phenomenal. Joined by Miles Sanders, Kenny Pickett, and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I have some awards updates. Puma Whitlock has passed Deontay Harris for the Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's shaping up to be a very close race. Harris is still ahead of him in the best quarterback race, but I guess Puma Whitlock's rushing ability has given him the edge. Let's go through our prospect profile now as we'll be covering the offensive and defensive linemen within this year's draft class. When we had our last prospect profile and went over the receivers, I said the wide receiver was the biggest position of need on this team. However, since then, the receivers have significantly outplayed the offensive line, And because of that, O-line might be the number one priority now going into the offseason. It's not one individual player who is struggling. It's more so just the whole unit. The run blocking's been very inconsistent, and the pass protection really has not been good at all. Puma Whitlock has gotten sacked more than any quarterback in the NFL this year, and if you add in the fact that 4 of our 5 starters along the offensive line are not under contract next year, the O-line could look a lot different next season. Kenyon Green is the only guy who is under contract next year, and we still have to make a decision with him on his 5th-year option. So basically, we will definitely be looking at the offensive line this offseason, and I would not be surprised if our top pick is along the offensive line. It's a very top-heavy group. There's going to be probably 5 or 6 guys who go in the first round, but there's not a lot of depth here really at any of the offensive line positions. If we want to get our guy, we got to get him early, and that starts at left tackle with DeMarco Zuberi out of Ole Miss. You'll notice that Ole Miss has 3 offensive linemen we're covering today. The Rebels' offensive line is by far the best in the country. This is a powerful, physical blocker who will get in your face. He's really good against the pass, and he's improving against the run as well. I think his well-roundedness makes him the top projected left tackle in the class. Although Ja'Kai McClain out of UCLA really is not too far behind him. I think McClain's got a really solid all-around skill set. He does seem to struggle against quicker edge rushers. I think that's his big weakness. But he has shown an improvement in that area against the pass and the run. At right tackle, again, plenty more talent as we start with Josh Okuwala out of UCF, a 4-year starter with the Knights. Okuwala is one of the best pass protectors in this year's draft class, and he has experience at right and left tackle. So I think that versatility to play either spot will really go a long way, especially for a team like the Dragons, who does not have either of their starting tackles next year set in stone. I think Serge Gevorgian is certainly going to be one of the most fascinating prospects to look at as we get closer to the combine. He apparently is listed at 6'7", 300 pounds, although some people believe he's a little bit closer to 6'9". So the height difference will certainly be interesting to watch. He's the best run-blocking tackle in this entire draft, but he's not good in pass protection. It's a major weakness for him right now, whereas Jake Louis out of Alabama is kind of the total opposite. Louis is a phenomenal pass protector, one of the top 2 or 3 at the bare minimum in this draft class, although he's not as good of a run blocker as some of the other tackles. Some day 2 guys to watch out for include Logan DiNardo, Devontae Houston, and Prince Adams. And then as we look at the left tackle position, Ethan McKnight, Barron Adams, some really solid players here. I think McKnight could be an interesting sleeper. He's been the blindside blocker for Callaghan October over the last 3 years at the University of Michigan, and he's done a phenomenal job consistently improving as a pass blocker each and every season, and I don't think he's that much worse than all of these first-round tackles. As we look over to guard, I think this position is very similar in the sense that we're going to have some guys go in the first couple of rounds, but it's not an overly deep group. If you want to get a really good interior offensive lineman, you're going to have to get one early in the draft. I think the only surefire first-round interior guy as of right now is Sexton Hardcastle, the guard out of Texas A&M. He's an intriguing player because I think he's got a little ways to go in his development, but I really like his athleticism, his versatility, and his overall upside. I think he's a powerful blocker who shows great flashes in the run game. I think Inazuma Mitsugo is a little bit more polished, though, especially in pass protection. The Stanford guard has had a very good season with the Cardinal this year, and I think this is a guy who you can very comfortably slide into your lineup and is probably the most pro-ready interior offensive lineman in this class. Some day 2 guards to watch out for include Talofu Gapia out of Washington. I really like Turbert Cheddar out of Ole Miss. I think he's another very polished player, especially for his draft range. He's probably going to go in the 3rd round, but I feel like he should go earlier than that because he's going to be able to step in right away and start at guard for you on day 1. At left guard, I think Pablo Diaz is pretty intriguing. Lemire Charleston's a pretty talented player too, and then as we move over to center, it's a close 2-way race for the first center off the board. We'll start with Andreas Butte out of East Carolina. I think he's got the more upside of the top 2 centers. I think his size, his length, and athleticism is really intriguing, and it will excite NFL scouts. Although he is a little bit less polished at the moment, especially in pass protection, compared to Benjamin Boyesen out of Ole Miss, the 3rd Ole Miss offensive lineman we're talking about today. Boyesen's a very good pass protector. He's a little bit undersized, though, 6'1", 300 pounds, and he's not as good of a run blocker as Butte. I think Jonathan Sinnington could also be an intriguing day 2 pick. I think he's going to be a pretty solid player at the next level. And even on day 3, I know there's not a lot of depth here, but I do like Ricky Rosario and Ronaldo de Maldonado as guys who could have upside down the line. I think it's an intriguing offensive line class, and as I said at the beginning, there's a lot of talent at the top of this draft, and the Dragons will definitely get an opportunity to pick 1 or 2 guys in the early rounds. But once you get out of the top 75 or so picks, there's a big drop-off. Let's move over to the defensive line. We, of course, drafted Simeon Bonnet in the second round of last year's draft, and that has been a great pick. But outside of him, how much else do we have? Emmanuel Ogbah is a solid veteran. We've gotten some flashes out of young guys like Joseph Osai, Javon Kinlaw, when healthy, DeJuan Overton, Trajan Blyjenden. But overall, this defensive line feels really incomplete outside of Simeon Bonnet, and I feel like long-term he could really use a sidekick. Similar to the O-line class, I think the defensive line group is very top-heavy, but there's not a lot of depth. I feel like we have to start off by introducing you guys to Sir Broderick Hillingham IV out of LSU, the best defensive prospect to enter the NFL in the last decade. And I do not say that lightly. This kid is truly generational. A one-man wrecking crew on the LSU defensive line. He has single-handedly won the Tigers multiple games this year. He has 16.5 sacks and is in front of the Heisman race as a defensive tackle. At 6'6", 320 pounds, he's got the size, the length, and the athleticism required to translate his skill set into the NFL. There's no question he's going to be able to continue his superstardom into the next level. And if there was a defensive player to ever trade up for, it would be him. He's going to go in the top 3, and whoever drafts him is going to be happy for a decade. If you miss out on Sir Broderick Hillingham, there are some good alternatives. We'll start with Tayron Wilson, the pass rusher out of Florida State, who I think as of now is the favorite to be the second defensive player off the board. He's a talented pass rusher who can win in a variety of different ways. Another guy with good size and length, 6'6", 271. I like his athleticism and his all-around skill set. Russell Bradshaw out of Baylor is a guy who is going to be one of the most NFL-ready players right off the bat. Despite the fact that he's a little bit undersized at 6'3", 253 pounds, he plays bigger than that. He's got a wide array of pass rush moves in his toolbox, and he's got good athleticism to make up for his lack of size. I think Chandre Bigsley out of Minnesota could also go in the top 10. I think of these top edge rushers, I believe that Bigsley gives you the best blend of size, athleticism, and production as a pass rusher. He's not a particularly good run stopper yet, that's his big weakness, but the guy knows how to go after the quarterback. Other than these top edge rushers, who are some guys who could go a little bit later, possibly late first, early second round, and we'll start with Ibrahim Lukosar out of Cal. Ibrahim was a 5-star recruit and somebody who was supposed to take the college football landscape by storm. That hasn't necessarily happened, but I think the team is still going to take a shot on him in the top 40 or so picks because of his athleticism and his raw upside. Devontae Clemens out of Syracuse is an intriguing player who I think probably does go in the first round. Entering the season, he looked like a potential top 5 to 10 pick, but he's been a little bit inconsistent as a pass rusher, and you combine that with his poor run-stopping ability, there are a lot more questions about him than there were going into the year. Zyril Collier, Kyle Soze, and Baba Mutumko are all projected to go in the late first, early second round. I really want to look at Kyle Soze, though, out of Army, because I think he's a really fascinating player. One of the youngest prospects in the draft. He's graduated in 2.5 years for the Army football program, and he is going to declare for the draft after his junior season. He's a little bit small, but I think he's a really, really productive pass rusher, and I think there's some good depth here with guys like Harold Hicks Jr. and Drogo Mills. As we look at left end, I think Chase Cinco is one of the most intriguing athletic profiles in this draft. I like Zaire Diaz-Holloway out of Clemson as well. He's a versatile defensive lineman who can play inside and out. And then on day 3, I'm intrigued by Jalele Alinafe, Christopher Whitlock, and Antoine Bibbs Jr. Let's move over to defensive tackle now. I would argue this might be the strongest position group in this class, obviously headlined by Sir Broderick Hillingham IV. But even if you take him out of the equation, it's a superbly talented group, and that starts with Marmaruke Azili out of Clemson. He's not as complete of a prospect as Hillingham, but he's still really good across the board. 6'3", 330 pounds, good pass rusher, good run stopper, good athlete. He's just not quite the game changer. that Hillingham is, and there's no shame in that. He's still probably going to be a top 10 pick, could very well be in play for the Dragons' top selection, along with all of these other pass rushers. I think Shadarius Fowler out of Ohio State is another surefire first-rounder. 6'7", 340 pounds. People his size should not be able to move the way he does. I think this is a guy who's a little bit more raw than some of the other top defensive linemen in this class, but when you look at his size profiling and you combine the fact that he has a near 7-foot wingspan, this kid has a sky-high ceiling. The upside is limitless, and because of that, I think he goes in the first round. There are some guys who are probably going to be fringe first-rounders. We'll start with Roger Carter out of TCU. I'm not sure how many of you guys remember this, but when he was a sophomore in the college football playoff, he had a game with like 5 sacks, and it really seemed like Carter was going to become a top prospect. That hasn't really happened. He's been very inconsistent as a pass rusher, but the athletic upside is still there. 5-star recruit. We saw the flashes in that one playoff game for TCU that he single-handedly won against Notre Dame back in Season 4 of the NCAA Next Up dynasty. Yoro Diallo out of Michigan State's another guy who I think could go in the first round. Diallo might be the second best pure pass rusher amongst the defensive tackles in this class behind Sir Broderick Hillingham. He's not a very good run stopper, but as a pass rusher, he's really solid. Tumani Sumaro out of Notre Dame is another guy who could sneak in the first round. I would guess he's probably going to go in the second round. You may recognize that last name because his brother Solomane Sumaro was the number 1 overall pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. Tumani is not quite the prospect that his brother is, but he's still very good in his own right. Another talented pass rusher who's got some intriguing athletic upside at 6'9", 365 pounds. And then we get to Bubba Watkins. He's one of the highest floor players in this draft, probably going to go on day 2. He's 24 years old already. He doesn't really have much pass rush ability, but he's a really good run defender. You know what you're going to get with him, and that is somebody who can play on early downs and stuff the run. Some names down the board to watch out for include Jamiron Barber out of Alabama, Zaire Savage III out of Cincinnati, Case in Point out of UConn. I think S.K. Dumbuya out of Auburn is an intriguing potential athletic flyer. I think it's a talented group here at defensive tackle, and don't be surprised to see the Dragons really invest on the trenches this offseason. We're going to draft probably multiple prospects along the offense and defensive lines who we talked about today. So I hope you paid attention because a couple of these guys are probably going to end up with the Dragons, and the other guys are probably going to be contributing elsewhere around the league. So that'll bring us to our matchup here in Week 15 against the Bills, who are in a very competitive AFC East. New England has already clinched the division, but the other 3 teams are all really good, competing for playoff spots. So this is a very important game for the Bills. They're obviously led by Josh Allen, who's really good. They've got a good group of skill position players, including first-round running back Jared Richardson, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, the rookie Giuseppe Macias, who's had a good year, Dawson Knox, and Dalton Kincaid. They've got an older but still very strong defensive unit led by Von Miller and Tre'Davious White. This should be a challenging game, especially when you factor in the weather. We are playing in the snow today, which should be a lot of fun. Now, I will say, if there was one team that I would not want to play against in the snow, it's probably the team who plays in cold Buffalo, New York every week. The Bills are most certainly used to the elements of the weather being cold, so they probably have a little bit of an advantage. The Dragons have never played in a snow game in their team's history until today, and another interesting storyline of this game is that this is Damar Hamlin's first time playing against the Bills since the incident happened when he was with the Bills. So I'm curious to see if he makes much of an impact today. Cameron Dicker, the kicker, has this ball teed off, and we are underway, Week 15 in St. Louis. The Dragons coming off an impressive win last week against Detroit. Here's the rookie, Giuseppe Macias, breaks a tackle. Macias, down the field. Can Osai catch him? He does not. Giuseppe Macias takes it all the way for a house call with no flags. The Bills return the opening kickoff for a touchdown. What a play by the rookie, Giuseppe Macias. Dragons with it. Puma Whitlock connects with Michael Gallup. That'll go for a first down. The Dragons did not really expect to technically start with the ball, but here we are off of the kick return touchdown. On 3rd and 8, here's Puma on the run. Boink, boink. Incomplete, nearly intercepted in the secondary. So that'll bring out the field goal team. It's a 44-yard try for Cameron Dicker. Note, there is no field goal meter. It's going to be a lot harder to kick. Dicker makes the kick, but we have the flag. It's going to be a roughing the kicker against Buffalo, and that'll be an automatic first down for the Dragons. Graham Duncan, the rookie out of Cincinnati, called for the penalty, so it'll remain 7-0, but the Dragons get the ball with a new set of downs. 3rd and 10. Here's Puma Whitlock up the middle, tries to get the first down. He cannot, and he is injured on the play. That is not good news. He won't go to the locker room. That's a pretty good sign. They're going to diagnose him with a shoulder strain. He is probable to return to the game. So the Dragons are going to have to kick a field goal after all, as Cameron Dicker gets that one to barely scrape in. And so it is now 7-3, and we finally get our first look at the Buffalo offense. Here's Josh Allen on first down. He wants it all, and he's got it all! What a catch by Gabe Davis at the 33, mossing 2 defenders, coming down with an incredible grab. 3rd and 10 now, halfway through the quarter. Allen in the zone, looks to throw it up the middle. It's hauled in by Giuseppe Macias, who does not get the first down, wrapped up by Demore Diggins. College rivals. Diggins, of course, played for Oklahoma. Macias, an alum of Texas. Here is Tyler Bass from 42. It's up and good, and that'll make it a 10-3 ball game. The Dragons return with Puma Whitlock under center. He's going to tough out the injury as he will connect short. It's Michael Gallup to the 45. It seems like Puma is becoming more and more comfortable with Michael Gallup, which is a big deal because, again, Gallup's going to be here for the long haul. Following play, it's a handoff for DeAndre Swift to the left side with blocks. Swift down the field. Nobody's in front of him. He'll take it all the way. A 55-yard touchdown run for DeAndre Swift. And this game is tied at 10. No shortage of action so far. It's been an exciting start as the Bills get it back. Here's the rookie out of Notre Dame, Jared Richardson down the field. Will the Dragons catch him? They do, but not before he brings it all the way to the 38. Richardson was an ultra-productive running back in college, 3,000-yard seasons, multiple seasons finishing as a Heisman finalist as he gets it back. His second carry also goes for a first down, and unfortunately he gets hurt, and he's not going to return to the game, which sucks because I was really excited to see more of him today. It'll be James Cook and Damian Harris leading the backfield for the rest of the way. 3rd and goal. Here's Allen under pressure, and he is going to eventually be sacked on the play by Simeon Bonnet, the rookie out of the University of Tennessee. Bonnet becomes the first Dragon in history to record a double-digit sack season. He's now at 10.5 sacks. That leads all rookies. Tyler Bass makes the field goal. He's 2 for 2, and it's now 13-10. Final play of what has been a very exciting first quarter. On 3rd and 2, it's Deontay Foreman, who does not get the first down. Ed Oliver, amongst others, there to bring him down. And the Dragons will have to punt it away as we go into the second quarter. 3rd down here for Buffalo. Allen joined by James Cook in the backfield as he looks to throw it. He's under a little bit of pressure from Bonnet and it is incomplete. Good coverage by Diggins and Okuda on the all-pro wide receiver Stephon Diggs. The Dragons have it back. They're moving it pretty well down the field as they have it at the 25. Here's Puma Whitlock under pressure. Evades the pass rushers. Still on his feet. He will connect with Michael Thomas, who gets 8. Puma Whitlock is 8 of 8 passing since he hurt his shoulder. And I will point out, I think he's only had like 2 throws of beyond 5 yards, but still impressive. 3rd and 4. Puma sacked on the play. Quick work from the Bills pass rush led by Ed Oliver. Got to make sure you aren't taking hits on that shoulder. Puma Whitlock's got to be cautious. The last thing the Dragons want is for him to re-aggravate that injury. Cameron Dicker will tie the game here with a field goal. We're knotted up at 13. The Bills are going to get it back with 4 minutes left to go here in the first half. We'll see if they can get the lead back as Allen will play action to pass. He's going to look downfield. It's hauled in by the rookie, Giuseppe Macias, who continues to have a really good start here for the Bills. He obviously had the kick return touchdown. He's had some nice catches as well. He's been the perfect number 3 complement for Diggs and Davis. On 3rd down, it's nearly intercepted by Greedy Williams. He got his hands on it. He's unable to come down with it. And the Dragons will get it back, hoping to take the lead here at the 2-minute warning. From the 38, it's a screen for Swift to the left side. Whoop! Jukes out a couple defenders. He brings it to the 45. Huge start in this first half for DeAndre Swift. 2nd and 7 now, with a minute to go in the half. Puma Whitlock with open rushing room. He'll take it for the first, and he'll make sure to slide down. He knows not to take a hit. as the Dragons use their first timeout. They still have 2 more along with 30 seconds as it's a 3rd and 12. Here's Puma Whitlock. Under pressure, he is sacked. The one thing he could not do there was take a sack because that'll knock the Dragons out of field goal range. He had to get rid of that ball. Rookie mistake. Good play by Ed Oliver. We're tied at 13 going into the half. It's been a really good game so far. Here in the snow, the Dragons have not been bothered so far by the elements. As we take a look at our halftime report, the New England Patriots are 14-0 as they beat Seattle 21-14. I'm pretty sure this is the longest a team has gone undefeated since the Cam Newton Panthers nearly a decade ago. It's been that long. In the Mile High City, the Atlanta Falcons currently at the number 1 seed in the NFC, and boy, do they look like it. They lead 28-0 against the Broncos. And in Kansas City, the story of this game, Rashee Rice leading the Chiefs to a 35-7 win. Rice had 11 catches for 166 yards and a touchdown, and this is not some fluke game. Rice leads all receivers in receiving yards by like 300. He is the runaway favorite for the Offensive Player of the Year. He has been that good. As we go into the second half of our game, we're going to be focused on throwing the ball. Puma Whitlock's shoulder looks all good, which is a big deal. I think we'll be able to open up the playbook passing-wise. And then defensively, we're going to have to stop Josh Allen. He's been really good so far. The Bills haven't really ran the ball a whole lot since Jared Richardson got hurt. The Dragons start with it. 3rd and 7. Puma's under a lot of pressure, and he will just loft it up into the middle of nowhere. It's incomplete. Good pass rush, good coverage there by Buffalo as they force the 3 and out. Bills back with it for their first possession of the second half. Game still tied at 13 as it's a handoff for James Cook, and he is wrapped up for a loss of 3 by Simeon Bonnet. Obviously, Bonnet has done great as a pass rusher this year, but he's been even more impressive in the run game, showing his run prowess there on first down. 3rd and 4 now. Here's Allen. Looks to throw it, and he connects with the young tight end, Dalton Kincaid, drafted in the first round a couple years ago out of Utah. From the 46-yard line now, 1st and 10. Here's Allen. He's going to look downfield. It's hauled in by Stephon Diggs, who makes a tough grab at the 30. The Bills' passing game is really starting to click. Josh Allen's making a couple nice throws, and now the Bills have it in the red zone on first down. Here's Allen. Under pressure. Fumble! And it'll be picked up by the Bills. That's DeJuan Overton, the rookie out of Auburn, with his first career sack, and it goes for a fumble. Simeon Bonnet as well helping out the pressure. He was in the backfield as well. 3rd and 16. Downfield. It's hauled in for a first down. Quick throw for Stephon Diggs to keep the drive going. What a pass by Allen, threading the needle. 2nd and goal. Can the Bills punch it in at the 1? Allen looks to throw it. Rolls out, and he connects with Gabe Davis for the touchdown. That's the Bills' first offensive touchdown of the game. Remember, their other touchdown was off the kick return. And so it's now 20-13. Dragons back with it. 2nd and 12. Puma Whitlock finds open running room again. Darts by Oliver and slides awkwardly at the 40 for a first down. Puma's used his legs a lot today. He's had some good runs in this one. Now from the opposing 47. Puma looks short. It's hauled in by Michael Thomas, and he will bring it to the 32-yard line. The offense is having a nice drive here as they look to tie the game up potentially. They've got to do some damage here, though, on 3rd and 8. Puma Whitlock looks to throw it. Has time. Down the field. It's caught inside the red zone by Isaiah Likely. The Puma and Isaiah Likely connection continues to flourish. Those guys have so much chemistry with each other. 1st and goal from the 3. Puma under pressure. He is sacked. A huge play for Matt Milano, forcing a big loss of the round 8. That'll make it a 3rd and goal. Puma Whitlock looking for an audible as he's going to throw it. Under pressure, and it's incomplete as he throws it into the ground, trying to get out of the sack. The rookie, Bruce Gonzalez, with the pressure. And so the Dragons are going to have to tack on 3 points. Despite the elements, Cameron Dicker is 3 for 3 on field goals today. And so it is now a 20-16 ball game as we move into the 4th quarter. Bills on top. 2nd and 5. Here's Allen. He will connect with Stephon Diggs, who jukes out a couple defenders and brings it to the 17. The Bills have it back in the red zone. The Dragons cannot let them score a touchdown. Got to make sure they only get a field goal and it stays a one-score game. The Bills running on 3rd and 10. I don't really know why. Cook is wrapped up by Leo Chanel, and the Dragons get the stop as Cook gains only 2 And that'll bring out the field goal team. Here is Tyler Bass. He's had a solid day so far, 2 for 2, looking to add another one. And the kick is good. The snow has not made an effect on these kickers. They're both 3 for 3 today. So the Dragons get it back. Down by 7 on 3rd and 9. Puma with a strike. What a throw for Thomas, who breaks a couple tackles. Thomas with one man to beat. He'll take it all the way. Limping into the end zone for a touchdown. What a play after the catch by Michael Thomas. And this game is tied up. That was a really good throw by Puma Whitlock, threading the needle perfectly. But this play was all Michael Thomas. Not a guy known for his ability after the catch, but he breaks 2 tackles, and he's huffing and puffing his way to tie this game up. So the Bills get it back. We're knotted up at 23. Here's Cook up the middle with a nice first down. Wrapped up by Jordan Whitehead and friends, but not before bringing it past the 50 to the 46. Following play, 5.5 minutes to go in the game. Here's Allen looking short for Cook. Breaks a tackle, and he still is going backwards. Simeon Bonnet with another tackle for loss. And so it's now a 3rd down and 9 for the Bills. Allen looks to throw it. Goes short. It's caught for a first down. Big throw by Josh Allen over to Gabe Davis. One of the biggest plays of this game. Now 3rd and 1 with 3 minutes to go. Another very consequential play as it is incomplete. The ball is jarred out by the rookie, Demore Diggins, who's been all over the field today, and that'll bring out the field goal team. Tyler Bass looking to put the Bills on top. The kick is up. It is good, but we have a flag. The Bills had a roughing the kicker earlier, and now the Dragons get one. Greedy Williams got a great jump on that special teams play, but so much so that he ran into the kicker. So the Bills get a new set of downs, and they can take the lead with a touchdown. 2nd and goal, James Cook will be wrapped up by Bonnet, but not before scoring, and the Buffalo Bills take the lead. The roughing the kicker penalty on Greedy Williams ends up being a 4-point swing, and now the Dragons come back down by 7. Puma Whitlock lives for these moments. He is at his best when the lights are the brightest. On 1st down, Puma has a wide open man. It's Michael Thomas, who's had a great day receiving-wise. He gets over 20 yards. Not so fast, partner. We've got a flag. This one's coming back. A holding on Isaiah Wynn. And instead of having it at 46, they'd be moved back to the 15. It's now a 3rd and 8. Short throw is caught just shy of the yard marker to gain by Michael Gallup. On 4th and 1, the Dragons say, screw it. We're going to go for it now. We've got all 3 timeouts, but let's just punch it in. And DeAndre Swift just barely does exactly that, gaining 2. St. Louis has got to move quickly, though. Going no huddle, still with all 3 timeouts, as it's a play-action pass. Puma rolls out to the right side with room. Launches a dime for Greg Dortch, who gets it to the 42. The Dragons are still going no huddle. They're holding on to all these timeouts. Here's Puma up the middle, going to run for it, and he gets the first down as the Dragons finally call their first timeout. It's about time. From the 32-yard line with 24 seconds and 2 timeouts, it's another play action. Here's Puma Whitlock, rolls out to the right under a lot of pressure. He's just got to get rid of it. Cannot get sacked there. Good job to get the ball out. We're down to 18 seconds now. It's 2nd and 10. Obviously, a field goal does nothing. The Dragons need a touchdown. Puma backs up in the pocket and just barely gets rid of it as he was nearly sacked again. Smart heads-up play there to not take the sack, and so now it's a 3rd and 10. Puma looks to throw it. He's again under a lot of pressure, and he throws it into the ground. The offensive line is doing him no favors on this drive, and the game comes down to this. It's a 4th and 10 from the 32 with 10 seconds to go. Dragons still with 2 timeouts. Puma looks to throw it. He's got Gallup wide open. That's a first down to the 16 with 5 seconds to go. The best bet for the Dragons is to take a shot for the end zone. Even though they have another timeout, there's only 5 seconds left. You might as well go for it now. Here's Puma, looks for Dortch. It's caught, and he's in for a touchdown! The Dragons can tie it up with 1 second left. What a drive from Puma Whitlock, finished off by a touchdown reception for Greg Dortch. He's able to fight for some extra yards and power his little frame in for a touchdown, and this game is going to overtime. The Dragons this season are 0-2 in overtime. They have not played an OT since week 3. Tails never fails. Unfortunately, the Bills know this. They win the toss. They'll start with the ball. So Buffalo gets it first with an opportunity to win. I feel like that really sucks because the Dragons offense has so much momentum right now. If they got the ball first, I have no doubt that Puma Whitlock would have drove this team down the field and won it. But he might not get that opportunity unless the Dragons get the stop, and they do. It's broken up on third down by Rock Ya-Sin, and now it's any score wins as the Dragons get it back with 5 to go. 3rd and 2. Here's Puma under pressure. He is sacked. Bruce Gonzalez makes another play. He's come in as an injury replacement, and he has made such an impact for the Bills today. Buffalo with it back, 3rd and 10. It's caught finally for the first down of overtime, as it is Deontay Hardy who makes the play. Another 3rd down now, this time 3rd and 12. Allen looks to throw it. He's intercepted! Greedy Williams picks it off, and the Dragons get the ball near midfield. A huge turnover for St. Louis, and they have a golden opportunity to win this game. 3rd and 11. Here's Puma looking for Weaver on the sideline. It's broken up by Teron Johnson. The Dragons do nothing off the turnover, and the Bills get it back with only a minute left to go in overtime. 3rd and 4. Allen connects with Gabe Davis for a first down. Hit hard by Okuda. Got to keep an eye on that clock. The Bills seem to be in no hurry. 2nd and 6, another first down for Gabe Davis. The Bills still not going no huddle. They realize that they just have to put themselves in field goal range, and they're already running the ball as Cook loses a yard. He's wrapped up by Simeon Bonnet, and from there, the clock is going to go all the way to 11 seconds. I don't get what the Bills are doing at all. You got to get yourselves closer into field goal range. This is a 56-yard kick. They had an extra timeout that they just burned after running the ball. No guarantee here. 56-yarder for Bass is up, and he missed it! It's wide to the right. It had the distance, and it nearly had the accuracy, but it's just off. The Dragons are going to have enough time for probably 2 plays. 7 seconds. They have a timeout from the 46. Here's Puma Whitlock. He's going to go downfield, and it is broken up for Thomas. So with 1 second left, the only shot here is a Hail Mary. The Dragons wanted to get in field goal range that last play. They couldn't do it. So now with a second left, they got to take a shot for the end zone. For the game, Puma Whitlock heaves it up. It is tipped, and it is in the hands of Gallup, and he drops it. Michael Gallup had the game right in his hands, and he doesn't come down with it. This game is over. Nobody wins. It's a tie. 30-30. What a game. Oh my goodness. The first tie in Dragons history. Both of these teams had so many opportunities to win the game, and they both made critical mistakes over the final, really, 10 minutes of this game that ultimately costed them. That clock management at the end from Buffalo was horrible. I don't get what the thought process was to go for a 56-yard field goal there. Puma Whitlock, I think, played really well. The accuracy was a little bit low, but I don't really care. He made some big throws today. He led some big drives. He came up a little bit short in overtime, though. That's the one complaint I have. Josh Allen was pretty good as well. Very solid game. He made some big throws as well. We ran the ball pretty well, mainly that one big run from Swift. Puma Whitlock had a good game on the ground. Sucks that Jared Richardson got hurt. Davis and Diggs, the standouts in the receiving game for Buffalo. Isaiah Likely and Michael Thomas were great. Gallup, of course, with the big drop in the end zone on the Hail Mary. That would have won us the game. A lot of drops for both teams. I don't know why, but in Dragons games, both teams get the case of the Butterfingers. Defensively, Simeon Bonnet had himself an unbelievable game. 5 tackles for loss and a sack. I know I feel like I say it every week, but this kid is so good. Multiple other rookies with multiple tackles for loss, including Bruce Gonzalez, DeJuan Overton, even Mamadou Diaby, the 7th-round rookie who we drafted, did not make the final roster, ends up in Buffalo, and has a really good game against the team who drafted him. Ed Oliver also really stood out. He had a great game for the Bills. Of course, we had the late turnover in overtime from Greedy Williams. That was not enough to win the game. Both kickers were really good. I'm not going to fault Tyler Bass for that last miss. The Bills did him a disservice by not getting him closer. So a really exciting game there that ends off in a tie, which is basically another way of saying that you lost. A tie feels a lot more like a loss than a win in the NFL as we take a look at our scores here for Week 15. No other ties this week, of course. Our tie is actually the first tie in the NFL season in its entirety. As we take a look at the players of the week, look who it is for the NFC offense. It's Puma Whitlock, along with Patrick Mahomes, Pete Werner, and Max Crosby. This is Puma Whitlock's first player of the week. I feel like he has really shown some good strides over the last couple of weeks. I feel like the two games today might be the two best games of his entire career. I was really impressed with him, especially in this game against the Bills. He made some big throws down the stretch and was really impressive. He's not the only rookie who had a big episode today. Simeon Bonnet is continuing his just flat-out dominance. 43 tackles, 22 for a loss. That number leads the entire league, and he also has 10.5 sacks. No question he's going to win the Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's in the race for the Defensive Player of the Year. I thought he kind of hit the rookie wall towards the middle of the season, but today we saw that's not the case. He had 7 TFLs today. That's a lot. We have a breakout defensive lineman. I think there's a good chance that's probably Simeon Bonnet, who's already had a breakout challenge. It could be DeJuan Overton as well. He had a really good game, 2 TFLs and a strip sack, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's him either. As we take a look at the standings here for the NFC, we're 5-8-1. The objective for us is simple. If we want to make the playoffs, we have to win out. And we need some other things to happen. That starts this week against Seattle, who is 7-7. They're barely on the outside. If we lose to Seattle, our playoff hopes are done. If we lose to the Bears, our playoff hopes are done. In the following episode, if we lose to Green Bay, our playoff hopes are done. We've got to win out. Hopefully we can do it. Next episode, we'll be playing against Seattle and Chicago. We might have our final prospect profile of the season as well. Really fun episode. I know it was a long one. I thank you guys for all bearing with me. This was still a really fun episode nonetheless with some crazy games. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.